Lucron, have you heard of this new 14 streamer, Asmongold, and his buddy Rich?
Oh, I've never heard of them. Never.
They were having a lot of fun last night.
I've never
Rich was.
ever heard of them.
I would love to know, because you said, like, especially at the start of the show, like, you are on this island of, like, you know, invulnerability, like you're just protected. However, I would have to assume that on your island, protected from spoilers in the 14 community, that a bottle of with a note that has floated your way, and you have learned that Asmongold and Rich are playing Final Fantasy XIV. Do you have any thoughts on that as a former WoW player, as somebody who, I guess, technically paved the way along with like others like Zepla and other content creators? But what's your take?
I honestly think it's pretty neat how happy he seems compared to before. Like anytime WoW comes up, it just feels like anyone, when they talk about it, it's just a whole bunch of rage and anger, and I'm like, wow, I feel like I dodged a bullet there, leaving when I did. I just think it's real nice to see them actually enjoying a game, because I feel like it's kind of been a bit of a trend to just be constantly on a hate train, especially with WoW, because I've noticed that it's just been nothing but anger for a while. And it's nice to have them get at least a reset. Like, I know they mentioned that they'll, like, or at least some of them mentioned that they'll go back to WoW if it gets better, or whatnot, if Blizzard finally listens or something like that. So I don't know if they'll stay for Final Fantasy XIV, but even then, I do believe they'll at least be like clear the content. And from what I've been hearing, people keep mentioning Final Fantasy XIV has bad content droughts, but I've also played Warlords of Draenor, and I'm like, I find that hard to believe. So if there is this so-called like content drought where everyone clears the stuff and they don't have anything to do, to my knowledge, Square Enix supports that, and so that let me step back for a second. Square Enix supports the idea of being able to play other games during that downtime, because as long as they come back, it's about all that matters, because they seem to care about delivering a quality product instead of just trying to appeal to the masses or leech as much money as possible all the freaking time. So I do like that idea, because I know there's a lot of things I would like to play. So considering the pace that I play Final Fantasy XIV, don't think I'm going to be getting around to the whole quitting Final Fantasy XIV point, but or at least taking a break from it, because there's a lot in this game. There's a lot to do in Final Fantasy XIV. I've been trying for that necromancer thing for so long now. Holy heck! So that by itself is something that could keep me occupied. And I am one of the apparently few unicorns that actually like playing the PvP in this game. So there's that, as long as other people queue it. As long
right now.
No, there's more people.
5 minutes.
Yeah, PvP's popping right now. But that's the thing I was going to bring up with is, like, I think, and I'm really hopeful for the PvP changes that they talked about, which you probably haven't seen at all. Their new PvP mode or whatever's coming. It's not spoilery, but being that you're on your island and you don't know what's happening, if I'm
going to be honest,
go ahead.
If I'm going to be honest, the only PvP community I remotely am familiar with is the PvP community. I've done 880 front lines on my character right now, and I am in that PvP Discord. I just never talk with anyone. I just
He's on his island
look and see what people. Yeah, I don't really interact. I'm really good at being antisocial, but I have been aware of the whole PvP things and the rumors about things happening in the PvP scene. Some people are saying that Feast will be deleted. I don't think that's like true.
Well, they're not wrong. If Yoshi P has stated that if the new mode is good and it's like what they want, then yes, like you could see them basically replacing.
You consider it replacing Feast.
Yeah. So but they're going to have to wait to see how it's received. And that my point on the PvP, and I want to jump back to you here in a sec, is that I think when we talk about content droughts, Chili talked about it. It's like really for the hardcore Savage Raider who only does like Savage and Ultimates. Like if you're not, and it's fine. Like Yoshi P says, take a break, and I think that's healthy. I think for me as a player, I'm hopeful that the PvP modes really help foster and feed the PvP community, because I've always gone outside of Final Fantasy XIV for my PvP fix, especially when queue times aren't popping off. But the fact that they are now has me excited to kind of jump back into it, because I enjoy PvP, and I love that the PvP community is growing, and I hope that they get fed in Endwalker. But you were going to make another point, Lucron. Go ahead.
I forgot what the point was.
That's how I do it.
Asmon and Rich.
Asmon and Rich.
Oh.
Rich was doing Ultimate last night, and I will say that it's a reminder. And Asmon's done a fashion show, and kind of like his mount offs that he's done in WoW. So like as far as content are out, bringing people over who are used to dealing with expansions that literally just didn't release patch content. Like Warlords of Draenor had 2 patches, and only one of those had a raid. So like it's people who are used to dealing with content droughts or pieces of content that they don't enjoy. We should see a huge amount of inspiration as far as additional ways to enjoy the drought. We've seen it in the community. We have people who basically sit in content. Ren, for example, has cleared UCOB, I think he said 411 times now. So for people who are looking for that one ultimate clear, that's why he can like talk his way through it backward while he's kind of doing raid call outs, because he's seen that content so many times. People doing minimum item levels, seeing things like tank cop where they're doing 8 tank pulls of UCOB, and they have gotten a clear doing that before. Right now they're working through the Eden Savage series as 8 tanks. So last night they were working on E7. They've already done 1 through 6. So making these Savage clears, like people find ways to make content out of this game. And what I'm excited about with content creators coming in at this size is that it's put additional interest on this collaborative state, because you have a large audience around somebody new who is interested in tackling things with veterans. And so you had a party last night that was just stacked with, Mr. Happy and Lamatod and Ren and Momo and Grimlow. And you have this full stacked party where you've got 7 brilliant players, some of which are content creators. I don't think of like Leon as a content creator, but very talented player. You see these people that are talented players, and then you're tossing them in with somebody who's never seen this before. And it results in like really neat content. So what I'm excited about is this kind of collaborative thing that's coming out of it. It's much more sustainable than, I hope their community does well, or I hope existing communities do well. No. One big Final Fantasy XIV community, and like all of this stuff going on simultaneously is really, really exciting to see.
So the question to Chris here, do you think YouTube's going to write Asmon that $20 million check and have him jump over from Twitch? I saw that video and I was like, it's so fascinating when it went like outside of just 14 as a whole, but the shift in Twitch is somewhat like I'm seeing right now as the shift in Final Fantasy and MMOs in general with WoW. The question is will it maintain itself? There's 2 giant experiments going on right now, and it's fascinating to kind of see and hear Asmon talk about that open and honestly.
But they're not just buying one creator, right? They bought a network of creators. And so it wouldn't be Asmon getting a check. They would have to bring over
OTK,
all of OTK,
in
one fell swoop. And that check gets really big.
Right. I mean, just $20 million, regardless, is what he said for himself. And then you have to think about the OTK. What do you think, Lucron? Are you following any of that, the whole Twitch business in and of itself?
Not necessarily. I did read a small bit of it, and I was like, so there's another exodus happening somewhere, I guess. But if I remember right, no, I guess that's a different topic altogether. I was going to mention Ninja moving to Mixer, but
it's in a way it's like similar, but it's like when you look at this one, though, it's kind of where, like, if all of a sudden everybody left WoW and started playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure, and it's like, oh yeah, they're going to be back. Like, it's so different. Where in YouTube gaming's perspective, essentially the debate ends up being YouTube has the people. Mixer didn't have the people. They were trying to buy the people, and people were like, I'm fine here on Twitch. I'm fine here on YouTube. But YouTube doesn't have the tools. They have the technology for the video. And so essentially what Asmon was saying is that how hard is it to build out a good chat? Like, how hard is it to build out the features that are lacking, especially just like what, like, this is a really great parallel to WoW, right? Where WoW relies on people to make add-ons. And then my impression of it is like, I didn't realize how spoiled I was with 14's HUD and different systems, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, it does that. And then I went over to WoW and it's like, you had to download this add-on. And I was like, oh, it's so cool that they let people do this. And then you kind of have this curated, pristine experience within, Final Fantasy XIV. Sure, you might miss out on a little bit of that flexibility, but it does make it easy to just jump on and play the game.
It does.
I don't think these tools are about any one of them being hard. I think Twitch has been building out their chat integrations, their community tools, what a content creator and a viewer experience from two separate viewpoints, but with a set of tools that are sometimes shared, sometimes different, for 10 years now. And so there are 10 years of not that hard. And so, my wife and I live in a very old house. Our house is older than my parents. And so, which I'm sure they'd love to be called old. So my dad came over, and he's a contractor for a huge number of years, and then went and worked as kind of on the corporate side, helping like plan out laying cable and stuff for AT&T. So he's worked around like all scales of construction. And he came in and he pointed at all the things wrong with my house, which is a delightful first impression from your parents. You just made the largest purchase of your life. Here's what's wrong. Here's what's wrong. Here's what's wrong. Here's what's wrong. But don't worry. 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 40 minutes, 30 minutes. All of these are under $20 or $30. No big deal. But he did that for every room in my house. And when you add up all these small changes with, yes, numbers that are $20 and $30 compared to Google's income, it was thousands of dollars and thousands of hours. And so, yes, chat shouldn't be that hard. Emotes shouldn't be that hard. Gifting subs shouldn't be that hard. Finding something for YouTube Premium or partnership or something where you have something to take on the Prime subscriptions shouldn't be hard. All these things on their own, each individual feature should be well within Google's capabilities. But they have 10 years of minor tasks to upgrade to their streaming before they can take on Twitch from a tools standpoint.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's just something that is happening right as we speak. Either history is being made or more lessons will be ultimately learned. I think this is kind of round two with essentially somebody who's a little bit, in Twitch's weight class when it comes to okay, what Mixer really was kind of this Hail Mary for Microsoft. And then they said, nope, that pass did not connect. And now we're kind of looking at is pulling in those communities the right thing? I still think something big is coming to YouTube. YouTube gaming overall. They said 18 months ago, we're going to be working on all these features. And I think they was originally planned to do a VidCon in October. And so typically that's when some of these bigger announcements get made. So who knows? That got canceled obviously due to COVID, but maybe they'll still have those updates ready to roll out or something to share with the content creator community, because more competition for our time, space, and platform benefits, I think, everybody. The viewer benefits the creator. Maybe not the platform, but the platform hopefully can start to,
they're forced to get better.
They're forced to get better.
It's like a physical trainer, right? You don't like the guy, but you are getting better.
You're paying them so you show up. Yeah.
Twitch and YouTube, they are getting stronger. They are getting more resilient. And as a result of each other, they are spreading the gap between them and any new players like a Mixer coming in and throwing a Hail Mary. They are more Hail Mary proof as a result of each other. So they are becoming better as a result of each other.
Absolutely. All right, Lucron, dude, we're going to do a little special segment that Chad had asked prior to you coming on the show here in the post show.